Good morning, everyone. I think in the previous lecture, you have been given the introduction to the CAM. Today, I will be starting with the construction of CAM profile along with the construction of the displacement diagram. So before I start again, I'd like to just slightly revise few basic terminologies that we are going to use in the numericals. Suppose if I take a perfect circular disc, okay, if I take a perfect circular disc and place a knife edge follower over here in this fashion. Okay. Now when the disc starts to rotate, it is a common understanding that since the radius is not changing of this particular disc, that is the radius is constant, there won't be any displacement of the follower in vertical direction. Why? Because the radius is constant. Okay. But some part of this disc, if I change the radius in this fashion, now when this disc starts rotating, so whenever the follower comes in this particular profile of the disc, okay, that is this orange line. Okay. On this particular orange line, you can see that the radius is continuously varying, and because of this variation of the radius, there will be a displacement in the follower in vertical direction. Okay. So let me assume that this disc is rotating in anti-clockwise direction. So from this point till over here, okay, the radius is constant. There won't be any displacement in the follower. From this point up till this peak point, you can see the radius is continuously increasing. So you can see that the radius at this point, the radius at this point, and the radius at this point is going on continuously increasing. So as the radius will go on increasing, the follower will start moving in the upward direction. Again, starting from this point to this point over here, you can see now the radius will go on decreasing. So as the radius will go on decreasing, the follower will again start moving in the downward direction. Now again from this particular point all the way up till over here, okay, so this entire range there is no variation in the radius, hence the follower will not have any displacement. Okay. So with this basic idea, what we are going to classify the terminology as, whenever the follower is moving up for a particular section of the CAM, that is this particular section. Okay. So for this section I am going to term it as rise stroke. Why? Because the follower will rise upwards because the radius is increasing. Again, starting from this point to this point over here, we can see that the radius is decreasing and the follower will come in the downward direction or return. Hence we call this as return stroke. Okay. And then from this point all the way up till here, since there is no variation in the radius, the follower is not having any displacement, we call this particular region as dwell stroke. Okay. So any CAM profile will consist maximum of 3 types of strokes, that is rise stroke, return stroke, and dwell stroke. Okay. Now depending upon the application, these rise, return, and dwell are arranged in a particular sequence. That means you can have a CAM profile which is having rise, dwell, return, dwell, this type of CAM system you can have, or you can have rise, return, or dwell, that is the one which I have shown over here, or you can also have this combination which is known as rise, return, rise. That means in the entire CAM profile there is no dwell part. That means a particular application wherein you don't want the follower to be still for any moment of the time. You want the follower to continuously reciprocate. That is, it has to continuously move up and down. For such applications, we need to select this configuration, that is rise, return, and rise. The best example for this would be the sand ramming machine. Okay, in the sand ramming machine, so in a particular pit we are placing the given composition of the sand, and we are having a rammer over here, and you want this rammer to continuously lift and ram the sand, again lift and ram. So in the entire process we don't want this particular rammer to be in still position. So for such applications we go for RRR configuration as explained. Now let me summarize this entire chapter for you. That means in terms of the types of problem or the types of CAM profile constructions that you are going to get. The follower displacement it can be of uniform velocity, it can be of simple harmonic motion, it can be of the form uniform acceleration and retardation motion, or it could be of the form of cycloidal nature. So the follower could move in any of these particular fashion, that is uniform velocity, SHM, UARM, and cycloidal. Next category is the follower axis. So it could be inline. When I say inline, means the axis of the follower and the axis of the CAM are linear, or it could be offset, wherein the axis of the follower is slightly away from the axis of the CAM. Okay, that is called as offset follower. Then we could have the type of follower also as a classification. So we could get the knife edge follower, roller follower, or say flat follower. And last classification will be type of motion of the follower. So it could be reciprocating, or it could be oscillating. Right? Now the problem statement can have the combination of any of these particular options. That means I can give you a problem wherein the follower is moving with uniform velocity, it is having inline stroke, and the type of follower is, say, I'll give roller, and I'll say it is reciprocating. Or I can slightly modify the problem by changing the type of displacement to UARM, making it as offset, giving a knife edge follower, and reciprocating. Okay. So these are all the possible parameters of variation in the CAM constructions, and each and every problem, whatever we are going to solve, will include the combination of all of this. That means I'll solve the problem which has all the 4 motions covered in those problems, also the type of axis, type of follower, and type of motion. Okay. So let us start with the first problem. I'll dictate the problem and I'll also write down what are the key important given parameters on one side of the board, and then we'll start solving the problem. So for problems, I am referring the book called as Theory of Machines by H.G. Pakadkar. For CAMS chapter, you can refer any textbooks by the title of Theory of Machines or Kinematic of Machines. So by any author it is okay. So the first problem, here it goes. Draw the profile of a cam operating a knife edge follower having a maximum lift of 40 mm. So let me write the given data. They have given it as knife edge. They are giving the maximum lift, which I am going to denote by h, small h. This is given as 40 mm. Okay. The next sentence is, the cam rises the follower with SHM for 120 degrees of its rotation. Okay. So the cam rises with SHM. So the rise stroke, which will denote it by theta naught, is of SHM nature, that is simple harmonic motion, for a period of 120 degrees. Okay. The next sentence, it is followed by a period of dwell for next 80 degrees. So after rise stroke, they are saying that there is a dwell period, which I will denote it by theta d, and the period is 80 degrees. Okay. Now the next sentence, the follower descends or returns for the next 80 degrees of rotation with uniform velocity. That means after dwell, there is a return stroke, which I am going to represent it as theta r. This is for a period of 80 degrees and the type of motion is uniform velocity. The least radius of cam is 30 mm. Least radius of cam is 30 mm, so we are going to term it as base circle is given as 30 mm. You have to draw the cam profile for this given problem. I'll repeat. The type of follower is knife edge. It will rise with SHM for 120 degrees. Then it will have a dwell period for 80 degrees. Then again it is going to return for next 80 degrees with uniform velocity. And the base circle of the cam is 30 mm. The maximum lift of the follower is given as 40 mm. So this is the given data. So there are two components in the construction of cam. The first one is known as displacement diagram and the second one is known as the cam profile. Generally, if I say this problem is given for 20 marks, then the displacement diagram would fetch 8 marks and the main cam profile will be for the remaining 12 marks. So this is how the marks distribution will take place. Let me start with displacement diagram first. That means I need to plot a graph or a curve for SHM and uniform velocity, how it moves. Okay. So for this, you need to draw a rectangle whose height will be equal to the maximum lift of the follower, that is given as 40 mm, and whose width will be equal to or corresponding to total 360 degrees of rotation of the cam. So let me draw it so that you can understand. So just ensure that while drawing the displacement diagram on the page, there is some space left on the left side. So leave some blank space on the left side and then start drawing the rectangle. So I'll first draw the height of this rectangle, whose dimension is 40 mm. Why? Because maximum lift is 40 mm. So always the displacement diagram is a rectangle whose height is equal to maximum lift, which is 40 mm. Now, I am drawing the width of this particular rectangle. Which should be equal to 360 degrees converted into some suitable length. That means I can draw this length of 36 centimeters, or you can again further scale it down to 18 centimeters if you want. You can further scale it down to 9 centimeters. But remember, the more larger you draw the diagram, the more accuracy of the correctness will be available. If you scale it down to a very small diagram, then the probability of having an error while measuring the length will be very high. So I request you to ensure that you draw this displacement diagram in your book in a landscape mode, so that the entire page is covered with this rectangle, so that you will have sufficient length to draw the width of this particular rectangle. Okay, so I have assumed that I've taken this as 40 mm, so this as 18 centimeters or 30 centimeters, doesn't matter, and I'll just complete this rectangle. So once I have completed this rectangle, I will divide this rectangle into these strokes, that is rise stroke, dwell stroke, return. After return again there will be del, which is not mentioned but we'll come to know over here. So first one is the rise stroke, 120 degrees. So I'll mark this, see over here. Okay. So that means this length is 120 degrees. So if you have taken 36 centimeters over here, this will be equal to exactly 12 centimeters. Okay. So after rise stroke, we are having dwell stroke, 80 degrees. So I have to measure it from here. So this is 80 degrees, that is dwell period. Afterwards again we are having a return stroke, which is once again 80 degrees. So whatever is left, that is the again dwell period. So the type of cam profile is rise, dwell, return, dwell. Okay, I hope it is clear now. See the scaling of this, if you are getting confused, I'll clear it once again. The scaling of the width of this rectangle is totally left up to the user. Depending upon the size of the book, you can choose the appropriate scale. Only suggestion is try to draw it as big as possible so that it can cover the entire page. Is it clear? Okay, done. So once you complete this particular step, the next step is to divide the rise stroke and the return stroke into some suitable number of divisions. So that suitable number of divisions can vary from 6, 8, 10, 12 and so on. So as the number of division goes on increasing, the cam profile will become a more smooth, or it will be having more accurate results. If you make very less number of divisions, then your accuracy will decrease. Just a simple logic here. Suppose if I want a perfect curve over here to be drawn between these 2 points, then I could draw a curve which is something like this. But between these 2 points, if I add another 2 points, then the curve will have more meaning. Similarly, again between these 2 points, if I introduce many such points and then if I join them, then what I'll ensure is I'll be getting a very perfect curve. So more number of points if you define, the curve will be more perfect. With the same logic, we'll divide the rise stroke and return stroke. I would generally go for minimum 6 divisions. So let me divide into 6 parts. Similarly, I'll also divide the return stroke into 6 parts. You cannot make 6 divisions here and 4 divisions here. If you have made 6 here, ensure that you are also making 6 divisions over here also. So once the divisions are done, very critical step is to number all these points. So I'll start with 0, then the divisions. So this will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, this 6, this point will be 7, 8, 9, 10, 12, and this is 13. So by the end of the return stroke, I have got the point as 13 over here. Okay, I hope it's clear. Whatever I have done till now, these steps will be common for all the types of problem that I want to get in this chapter. Up till here, it is totally common step, that is drawing a rectangle and dividing the rise and return stroke into 6 parts. These steps are common. Now the variation comes. I need to draw a particular displacement, how the follower moves in the rise stroke and how the follower moves in the return stroke. So I have been given the condition over here, that is for rise stroke it has to move with SHM, for return stroke it has to move with uniform velocity. For each of these types, there is a particular procedure of how to draw the curve. So I will start with SHM. So I need to draw the rise stroke with simple harmonic motion. Whenever you are having simple harmonic motion, please listen carefully the steps, they are very simple. I will be drawing a semicircle on the side of this displacement diagram. That's why initially I told you to leave some blank space over here. Okay. So I will be drawing a semicircle on one side of the displacement diagram. Then I will divide this semicircle into same number of parts where I have divided in the rise stroke. That is, I have divided 6 parts here. I will also divide the semicircle into 6 parts. Okay. And I will name them or label them with small alphabets, say A, B, C, D, E, and this will be F. Draw a semicircle, divide the semicircle into 6 parts and label them with small alphabets. So once this is done, the last step here is, starting from point A, I will draw a horizontal line until it intersects line 1. Starting from B, I will draw another horizontal line until it intersects line 2. Starting from C, I will draw a horizontal line until it intersects line 3, and so on. So let us see how they come out. So from A, I have drawn a line until it intersects line number 1. Similarly, for from B, I will draw a horizontal line until it intersects line number 2. From C, I'll draw a line up to line number 3. Similarly, from D, I'll draw a line until it intersects line number 4, and from E, I'll draw a line until it intersects line number 5, and from F, if you draw until it intersects line number 6, so it will come here, intersection. Okay. So all these intersections I have highlighted. Once they are done, we have to just join them by using a smooth curve starting from this initial point okay. So this is a smooth curve that you are supposed to use here by joining these points up till here. So this will complete the displacement of rise stroke in simple harmonic motion nature. Okay. Always, I have told you, the moment you get the intersection points, you have to label them. So I'll start with this first one. So let me name it as P1. For second, I'll name it as P2. For third, I'll name it as P3, P4, P5, P6. Okay. This is how the displacement of the follower will take place up till here. Now once it comes to P6, what will happen to the follower motion from here till here? That is, this is the dwell period. What will happen to the follower? Since it is dwell period, the follower will not have any displacement. That means it will neither rise from here nor it will fall down. It will have to move in a horizontal direction. So I can directly obtain P7 from P6 by drawing a horizontal line. Because it is a dwell period, there won't be any variation in the displacement of the follower. Okay. I hope this is clear. No variation in the displacement of the follower, hence it is a horizontal line up to P7. Now once I come to P7, now I am into the return stroke zone. So here I need to draw the displacement curve with what nature? With uniform velocity nature. Uniform velocity nature is the most simplest way to draw. All you have to draw is a straight line from starting point to end point. But what is the catch here? If I take a rise stroke, this is the starting point, this is the end point of the rise stroke. But if I take return stroke, this becomes the starting point and this becomes the ending point. So many students in the exams I have seen that they again consider this as the start point for return stroke, but that is totally wrong. We have stopped till here, that means this becomes the starting point of the return stroke. So from starting point to the end point, all I have to do is draw a straight line and wherever it intersects the vertical lines, once again I highlight them and continue the numbering. So I had stopped at P7, so I'll number with P8, P9, P10, P11, P12, and last one is here, that is P13. Okay. So like this you will be getting 13 P points. I use the letter P for position. The terminology is position. In some textbooks they have used it as T also. So that doesn't matter as long as you are numbering them and labeling them correctly. So once this is done, your displacement diagram is completed. That means this is worth of 8 marks now, drawing the displacement diagram. Once the displacement diagram is over, I will move to the next section, that is drawing of the cam profile. So to start with, I'll have to draw a circle initially. I have to draw a circle which will be known as base circle. So once cam profile will be constructed by initially drawing a base circle and then giving it a particular profile. So to draw the base circle, we are having a given data in the problem that the base circle is, okay, let me check whether the diameter or radius. Okay, it has a radius of 30 mm. So the base circle radius is given as 30 mm. So as per that, let me draw a circle over here. Okay. So this is a base circle and I have located the center. So just name them as base circle. Now the next question comes, whether the follower which is given to us as knife edge over here, I know that the type of follower is knife edge, whether the axis of this follower is in line with the axis of the cam profile. So this is the axis. This is the axis of the cam. So whether the follower axis is also in line with this or whether it is offset, that statement is not mentioned in the problem. When it is not mentioned, it is to be understood that it is in line, because had it been offset, then they will give you the distance of the offset. Since they have not mentioned any distance of the offset value, it is to be understood that the axis of the follower and the axis of the cam are in line. So with this understanding, let me draw the knife edge over here. That is the initial position of the knife edge. You can draw it over here. Okay. So I'm assuming that the knife is initially at this point, and I'm also assuming that the cam profile will rotate in clockwise direction. If the cam profile rotates in clockwise direction, its rise stroke will start from left side. That means as it rotates, it should have a rise stroke, something like this. I'll just draw an approximate curve. It should look something like this. That means when it starts rotating, because of this increasing radius, it will have a rise stroke, then it will have a dwell stroke, then again you can see the radius is decreasing, it will have a return stroke. Okay, this is what we are supposed to get at the end of this particular drawing. So once the base circle is drawn, since I have taken the follower here, this becomes my reference line. Just like the displacement diagram, now I will divide this base circle into rise stroke, dwell stroke and return stroke. Okay. So starting from this line, the rise stroke is 120 degrees. So this is 120 degrees rise stroke. Then we are having a return stroke. Okay, which is of 80 degrees. Sorry, after rise we are having a dwell of 80 degrees. So after dwell again we are having a return stroke for remaining 80 degrees. Okay, so I have drawn the rise, dwell, return. What should be the next step? Just like displacement diagram, after drawing the rise stroke, dwell stroke, we have divided them into 6 parts. I'll also repeat the same step here, that is, I'll divide the rise stroke into 6 parts, dwell into 6, not required dwell, for return again 6 parts. So remember here, when you are dividing, now you have to measure the angle. Okay. Something like this. Okay, I have divided into 6 parts and I have drawn the radial lines over here with increasing length. We'll come to know the reason of this later. After dividing as it is, I'll number this as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. Now if you just compare the displacement diagram and cam profile, so here also I am having the numbers 1 to 6 after dividing the rise stroke, and here also I am having the number 1 to 6 after dividing the rise stroke. So what it actually tells you is, just a little bit of imagination is required. If I just hold this particular point and at the end of this rectangle, and if I bend it into a circle, if I bend this particular horizontal line into a circle, this is what I'm going to get. Okay, and accordingly, now we will see after bending this into a circle, how will these points come into the cam profile. Okay, so my next job is to transfer this position points from displacement diagram to the cam profile. So it's very simple. I'll measure the distance from point 1 to P1, set the compass of this distance and cut the arc over here. I'll measure the distance from point 2 up to P2, set the compass of this distance and then cut the arc over here. I'll repeat again, from point 3 to P3, I'll measure or set the compass of this particular length, and that length I will bring it over here from point 3 to P3. Similarly, from point 4 to P4, from point 5 to P5, from point 6 to P6. So these are nothing but P1, P2, P3, P4, P5 and P6. So once you get these position points from displacement diagram to cam profile, all you have to do is join them again with a smooth curve starting from the 0 point. So from 0 I will go to P1, P2, P3, P4, P5 and P6. A very smooth freehand curve has to be drawn over here. Once this is done, next I'll move to the dwell portion. So this line I'll just extend. So how to draw this curve now from P6 to P7? How should I come? Since it is a dwell zone, again there won't be any displacement of the follower, which means the radius of this curve which I'm supposed to draw now over here, the radius has to remain same. So all you can do is, with the center and this point as a radius, you can just draw the curve till here and mark this point as P7. Remember, for this curve now, you have taken this as a center and drawn the curve. That means the radius will not change, it will be constant, and for constant radius, it is known as dwell face. Okay. So after this, next I'll switch to the return part. The same procedure what you have done for the rise stroke, I am going to repeat the same procedure. That means I'll divide this into 6 parts. Draw these radial lines. Okay. I'll continue with the numbering, that is 1 to 6 we are done. So this will be 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Okay. Already I've got P7. Next I'll see for P8. So to measure P8, what I have to do is from point 8 to P8, set the compass and cut the R4 here. Similarly for P9, from point 9 to P9, and here also from point 9 to P9. So like this, if you keep on doing for all the curves, you'll get the P points, and I'll name them P8, P9, P10, P11, P12, and at the end it will be P13. And all I have to do is again join them with the smooth curve. Okay. So this orange line which I am drawing now is the main cam profile which we have obtained. It will come till here. From here there should be a smooth transition, and remaining is a dwell. Okay. So this is the cam profile that we are supposed to obtain. Now I need to ensure that I get full 20 marks for this problem. So for that, make sure that you are highlighting each and every dimension. You are highlighting each and every intersection point with some numbering system, some labeling system. The same labeling system has to be followed here. When it comes to cam profile, I'll label this also as knife edge follower. This is the base circle, and this orange line is known as cam profile. See? So already I have shown rise stroke 120 degrees, dwell at 80 degrees, and return as 80 degrees. Okay. So this will complete the problem, which could be possibly asked for 20 marks. I'll wind up today's class because I cannot start the next problem, as it would again take around 45 to 50 minutes to solve the next problem. But what we'll do is, now in displacement diagram I have already covered SHM and uniform velocity. In the next problem, I'll slightly modify this. Instead of uniform velocity or instead of SHM, we'll take UARM, that is uniform acceleration and retardation motion. That is one thing. And another change what I'll make is, in this cam profile, I'll make this particular follower to have offset, say by 10 mm or 12 mm towards the right side of this cam profile. So the follower will come over here now. When the follower is offset, we'll see what is the procedure to draw this. Okay, that will cover up in the next class. Okay. I hope it's clear. If you are having any suggestions, or if you are feeling that I'm going too fast or not understanding, you can just send me a message so that I can improvise in my next class.